pain in the arse, isn't it? Right, see if this works. That's better, I can see you coming up now. For some reason, it just takes a shit every now and again, so let's see how this goes, shall we? Profile of one of my Marshall Plexis. So it's a Kemper, and I mic'd up the Marshall. I made a profile of it so I can have it in the house and I don't have to keep going out in the studio. So this is a Marshall Plexi with a bit of reverb on it, as you can hear. Like we've got a slipping E string. I don't know if anyone can hear, I keep having to tune up the bottom E. The thick, or the bottom or the high, whatever you call it. The bottom E, to me, is, that could be the bottom, because it's on the bottom, and this could be the bottom, because it's on the bottom tonally. So, but this one here keeps going a little bit flat, if anyone can hear. That's okay. Craig, I just saw you. These ones have been changed. These were last. Actually, they haven't been changed for about a year. This came off the. Actually, no, I put wrong. This has been changed fairly recently. Maybe it's just a Duff string, or maybe I'm playing Duff. I don't know. plays the guitar while sitting down. I really love it. You just put it between your legs. Put it between your knees. It's however's comfortable for you, really. Reminds me of Nigel from Spinal Tap. I take a lot of cues from Nigel from Spinal Tap, as I'm sure you've noticed. Have I ever lost motivation when playing? That's a great question. Of course. I think sometimes. Whenever there's a challenge, whether it's creatively or whatever challenge we're talking about, everyone gets demotivated sometimes, and in regards to playing, I remember very vividly, there was a time when I was a boy, when I was younger, and I was playing, bars and clubs and pubs in London and around England, and I got very kind of disheartened, and very demotivated. And there's some things in life where you get demotivated and you leave and you never do them again. And there's some things in life where you get demotivated and there's something about them that draws you back to them, and then you overcome the wall or whatever it was that was demotivating you. And luckily, it was about 2 weeks later, I quit the band, I was really demotivated. I quit the band, and it was one of those, Tenacious D moments, Kyle quit the band, Dickie quit the band, So about a week later, I was back. I was back down the Arse and Trumpet in Camden Town with my Les Paul strapped around my neck and playing some awesome hits. So, but of course you get demotivated. But that's, there's a natural challenge that comes with things, and sometimes you get demotivated, and that's what you've got to have, that passion and that tenacity to approach and to beat it. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but you definitely, without a doubt, get demotivated. Do I have any back problems? Sometimes, yeah. The older I get, and there's been a couple of times on the last couple of tours where at the end of a tour cycle, maybe we've been out 2 or 3 months, I definitely start to feel the strain in my lower back, without a doubt. I think that's something to do with age. Pound cake, is that the one that I think it's pound cake. Yeah, yoga. Yeah, I can't see myself doing that at the moment. But maybe, never say never. I can't remember what the other question was at the moment. Do I know scorpions? Let me have a think about that. Yeah, I do know some scorpions. Why are you cabled and not wireless? Do you know what? I don't like a cable, and it's nothing to do with it sounds different. Some people would tell you, a cable or a wireless system sounds different. I couldn't tell you, and especially at certain volumes we play. And again, everything sounds different. You play in a different room or a different floor or a different set of monitors or a different humidity, it's going to sound slightly different. And I don't care if you've got X-ray hearing. There's no more difference in using a wireless sonically than there is all the other variables in different rooms. So, it's not for that reason. It's just because I don't like the feel of it. I like to feel connected. It's purely a psychological thing. I like to feel connected to the amplifier. And without a cable there, it just makes me think about something else, ironically. It's supposed to make you think less about the cable, but to me it makes me think more that there's not something there, and it's purely because I'm used to having the cable there. So take it away, and it gives me something more to think about, ironically. So I just prefer the way it feels, as with most things, Right, here we go. Can you keep songs in your memory, or do you forget easily? I've got quite a good memory, to be honest with you. What's the question? No, I'm kidding. I've got quite a good memory. I've played in cover bands all my life. And we played everything from like Brown Eyed Girl, ironically forgot it, but so you have to kind of remember a repertoire of songs, and we never had set lists. So we'd get there and the singer would kind of play it by ear on the night. So what are we going to play? What are we going to open up with? If it was a rock crowd, we might start off with something like that. And if it was a pop crowd, we might start off. So you have to kind of call upon certain songs very quickly at the drop of a hat, basically. And I guess because of that, it kind of all stays with you. And the good thing was, luckily, I mean, I didn't know at the time, and as I said before, you kind of get demotivated with it because you're doing it all the time and you're playing in bars and clubs, but you don't realise it at the time, but all that information is going in on a regular basis. I mean, we used to play Thursday to Sunday every week. All these songs, all these different scenarios. So without knowing it, you're getting an education, and you're training your brain and your ears, all that sort of stuff. So it's very valuable. Is there a new version of your signature Epiphone? Not that I know of. No. Do you have any guilty pleasures in your music taste that no one knows of? No, there shouldn't be any guilty pleasure. It's not guilty if you like it, is it? There's some wicked stuff. I know what you mean though. Like, you know, if you went to a hardcore metal crowd and said, yeah, I like, Soft Cell or something, it might be a guilty pleasure. But no, well, that's great music. Great music's great music. So I'm not guilty for any of it. But I know what you mean. Soft Cell was one of them. There you go, there's one of them. Triumph or Rush? Rush. Although I'm not a huge... I'll have to say Rush. Do you think current teenage guitar players have a future in metal? Of course. Everyone, you know, I mean, if you said the same thing to Glenn Tipton 40, 50 years ago, if he had a future in making metal, he'd have said no. But here he is 50 years later creating some of the most iconic music in the world. So there's always challenges, and it might seem that, you know, young people now, young guitar players now might not have a chance, but they kind of never did. There's always an element of struggle, which is great. You've always got to be one step ahead of everyone and one cut above. So I don't think that's changed. I think the good thing now as well, you've got things like this, resources like this, you've got YouTube, you've got SoundCloud, you've got all these kind of avenues where people can go and learn how to play and listen to people talk about their experience and stuff like that, which no one had 50 years ago. They didn't have that in my day, really. You know, so yeah, I think it's, you know, back then there were less of them, less guitars, less bands in general maybe, less of a, you know, saturation of bands. Now you've got millions and millions of people that play and thousands of bands, but you've got, you know, an opportunity to have exposure to millions of people as well. But so do everyone else. You've just got to be a cut above, as usual, you know. Mr. Nichols, how you doing, son? How you doing there, boy? Hope you're holding up well. What is my favourite amplifier? Well, it depends really what I'm doing. By the way, everyone, I've already apologise. Excuse the sweat. I've been out in the yard doing the grass. I've been cutting the grass, so excuse the greasiness. But you know, that's what you're getting today, I'm afraid. What's your favourite scale? I don't really know scales. I just play what notes sound right, if you know what I mean. Usually people tell me what scales I'm playing. I couldn't really tell you. Right, let's do some songs. Who would play you in a Priest movie? Brad Pitt. Fucking Brad Pitt. Of course Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt walks on with a flying V. It's going to be me, innit? No. Who would play me in a Priest movie? Let me think. Who would play... I don't know, maybe you could answer that. Who would play me in a movie about Priest? Lady of the Lake, that's a good one. Guitarist. Well, my favourite blues guitarist at the moment is Mr. Jared James Nichols. I don't know if you've heard him. You should go check him out. But my favourite blues guitar player of all time was Jimi Hendrix for me. But for me, Jimi Hendrix didn't sound like a blues guy. I know, you know, now I've grown up a bit, I can hear the blues in there. But when I first heard Jimmy, he didn't sound like Clapton to me. He didn't sound like, you know, all that kind of blues music that I associated with blues. Jimmy to me sounded like from another planet. In the time of quarantine, you're composing new stuff all the time, even when there's not a quarantine. I mean, quarantine definitely does lend itself to some, some downtime, and that lends itself also to some creative time. So without a doubt, always putting down stuff. We've started writing a new Priest record, so there's always stuff that needs to be done and tightened up and filled in, and mid-sections and solo ideas and tweaks here and there. So without a doubt, yeah. Do you like bare knuckle pickups? I used to have a bare knuckle pickup in one of my Les Pauls. It was a War Pig, I think. As a kid from Chingford, did you ever think you'd ever make it? Well, I don't think you ever think that you've made it. It's just another step on the. But I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. I think there's always a hope that you might, otherwise I don't think you'd bother, you know what I mean? You've got to have that sort of aspiration, to aim for. And I guess that's making it, but I don't think you ever kind of get there. You always move the goalpost, so you get to a point and then you try something else creatively or financially or, that sort of thing, like all that sort of thing. So that's a good question though. We just had Rock Hard Ride Free. E4 Massive, yeah, it's been a while since I've been back there, but it was my old stomping ground, Chingford, and before that it was Tottenham. Favourite KK Downing solo? I think, you know what, there's a few of them, but I like Jawbreaker. I like the. My favourite effects pedal to use. I use the chorus pedal an awful lot. I know Zach did. Zach does. I use the chorus pedal a lot. I don't know if it's my favourite one. That's a good question. I'll have to think about that one. But that's definitely the one I use the most. That's on pretty much. That's like on 95% of the time. Although it's getting less and less the older I get. I don't know why that is. To the Highway, is this one of your favourite songs to play? Yeah, they all are pretty much. I mean, and they're all favourites for different reasons. I mean, I'm rubbish with favourites, so I can never pick one, but that's definitely, It's a classic riff. We should get more of those riffs in, What pickups set are you using on this guitar? These are prototype EMGs that I'm working with EMG on. So these are prototypes that I'm trying out at the moment. And we want to try and if these work out, and they seem to be. We're going to maybe release these as a signature set. There's a few tweaks on these to make these a bit different. And it's come from requests that I've made to EMG over the years of touring with Priest. We've always tweaked things like the 5766. I started using those with Priest. Out of something that a sonic quality that I wanted from pickups, that was one thing that they suggested, and then these have come out of a tweak from the pickups that I've used over the years. A few tweaks on these, and these ones are lovely and white. These prototypes. So watch this space. Obviously, at the moment, everything's a bit sort of shut down. But when everything gets back up and running, hopefully these will hit the market and everyone can buy these. What's your favourite venue to play? Oh, I don't know, I like small shitholes and I like big arenas, like the Budokan, and there's some arenas in South America which are famous for football, soccer. They've all got their own magic, and but some of the best shows I've ever done, the most magic have been those little sweaty shitholes We did. I think the last time it was on the Redeemer of Souls tour in Japan. We did the Budokan in Tokyo, and then we oversold it. So we done a small theatre show on the side of that. We came back and did that, and it was about 3,000 people. I think the Budokan's around 8, so it was a difference of around 5,000 people. But the atmosphere in that small, I think it was called, I can't remember what it's called. It was in Roppongi. It was a small 3,000 seater theatre, and I tell you what, at the Budokan, bigger venues, everyone has to be further back so everyone can see you. So you lose a bit of that connection with the audience, but what you get is the magic of the big arena. When it's a smaller venue, you haven't got that distance between the crowd, so the crowd are right on top of you. And you could hear them. They were singing, those crazy Japs. They were singing the guitar solos. I could hear them singing notes as I was playing them. It was absolutely electric. So yeah, I don't really have that was a long-winded answer to your question, as I am wont to do. But there you go. I don't really have a favourite. They've all got their own magic. I remember the Forensi Rocks gig. I think that one, I don't know what the shame was, but that was a really hot one, I think. I remember that one a lot, yeah. Halford inspired your surname. Yes, Faulkner used to be Falconer, and Falconers used to train falcons and all that malarkey, so that's where it came from. And that's what Robbo called me when I joined the band, so that's what happened. Yeah, we all sing guitar solos. That's one of the great things about bands like Priest. That kind of guitar style, Iron Maiden, Thin Lizzy, Judas Priest, you could sing the guitar solos, and they would really, like Slash as well, Michael Schenker. Yeah, we can hear you. Well, some of you. Some of you would hope we didn't, or we wish you didn't hear. No, I'm only kidding. Next time I'll definitely be listening more. Let me see, what's my favourite guitar brand? I use Gibson and Epiphone for everything that I do with Priest. Recording, live, I think you'll know that. Do I ever play bass? Sometimes. If I have to do some recording at home or putting some ideas down, I'll play a bit of bass. Let me see. Funniest tour story. The funniest tour story, I remember we were in Brazil somewhere, I think it was Brasilia, and Rob usually comes out on the bike and he stops in the middle of the stage and does his thing. And on this particular occasion, he took it upon himself to drive around on a bike, and he drove it into the middle of the stage, and he carried on. And I think his idea was to go around and then come back again. And he drove it into the side monitors, the side fields, and he hit the monitors and fell over on it. And to be honest, it wasn't funny for a split second because he went down. You never know what's going to happen. But he picked it up, sat back down on it, and we could laugh afterwards. And that was pretty funny. Good old Halford. Any riffs, anyone? My fingers are getting bored. Can you play the classical guitar? Bits and pieces, yeah. Bits and pieces, but I don't own one. I don't own a classic guitar or an acoustic for that matter. Marshall JVM or EVH amps. I used the JVM on I think it was the Orange channel for the rhythm stuff. There was other stuff in there as well, but I think we used both sometimes. But I used the JVM a lot. Steeler. Belushi Theorem, the Van Halen. I used to know the Van Halen one, if that's the one you mean. I don't think I remember it anymore. It was on the B-side of something, wasn't it, Belushi Theorem? parts with the tremolo. Well, not really. It's just give it some. That's it. That's the technical explanation for you. Can you or do you sing? I sing some backing vocals with the MG. But I haven't got a lead voice. It's a bit embarrassing. But I'll sing backing vocals, yeah, absolutely. Or I'll sing if I'm putting down vocal melody ideas on demos that I've got. I'll sit at home and scream like a madman, putting down melodies. Do you like the Kemper? Yeah, the Kemper's a good tool. You know, the Kemper's a good tool to have at home. I think there's still discrepancies live. I mean, people say that it sounds exactly the same as a tube amp. It absolutely doesn't, and it doesn't feel the same either. You know, sounding is one thing, feeling to the guitar player is totally different. Feels totally different. There's something missing in the Kemper Live that a fired up tube amp it doesn't have, without a doubt. Cowboys from Hell. Never seen you do much finger tapping. Yeah, it's just not part of. I do bits and pieces. There was there's some, but no, it's never something that I've been particularly good at, so I never really did it too much. Brett fan. Creeping Death. Disposable Heroes. That's not Disposable Heroes, is it? Maybe it is. Trader's Gate. For you, it is yes. Diamonds and Rust. Diary of a Man. Another hit and run. Do you know what? Another hit and run. A couple of years ago, I was going to play that with the Metal Allegiance, and I learned it properly, and it was great. I love that song. I can't remember it at the moment. I might remember it, but I learned it properly, and I was ready to go. And it was going to be me, Phil Demmel, I think Alex Skolnick, and no one else. Me and Phil Demmel learned it, and I think no one else learned it. So we didn't play it. It was a total balls up. I was really looking forward to playing it, but there you go. There you go. Right, what do we got? What have we got? We've got Firepower. we got? Dissonant aggressor. A lot of alternate picking. Do I prefer it to downstrokes? Yes, I do. I find there's more rhythm in. I mean, unless you're playing thrash, and it's got to be kind of that sort of vibe. But I grew up on a healthy diet of Mr. Michael Schenker, and it was always. There's not as much swing and movement in it for me, so and also the argument is it sounds different, it sounds better. They're single note riffs, so you can't really tell. It's not like you're hitting one, you know what I mean, they're single note riffs, so if you pick turn it or down, it doesn't really sound different to me, but I don't know, it's just my ears. As I said before, it's just easier for me to do, and I'm a lazy bastard, so there you go, that's why I do it, and I'm sticking to my reasons. Right, what we got? We're playing a live, live transmission. I wish everyone would get together. Maybe we can set that up, maybe we can do that. Depends what you're playing. Yeah, I suppose it does. But still, does it really? Does it? You know. Thank you, Jess. Thank you very much. Thank you. Rising from Ruins. Natural theme. Do you know what, the Rotovibe and the phaser and stuff, I'll get, next time I'll do a live, I'll get out some pedals, I'll do some, I'll get a wah out and I'll get a Rotovibe, not a Rotovibe, I'll get a Univibe out and stuff like that, so I'll do that next time for sure. Eat me alive. Anything off the Justice album? Let's do Old School War, that's a great one. Different Floyd on it. No, it's a regular. I think this one might be different, ironically, because I broke one of them, so I had to put a new one on. I think I broke this one. But all the ones that I use on the Epiphones are the ones that you buy when you get them, if you know what I mean. They come with them. I don't change any of them out. But there's different models of Floyd Roses, I think. So I think it's a different one to the one I've got in the Gibson. But all the Epiphones are the same as what you get if you bought one off the shelf, so to speak, unless you break it like me, you have to put another bloody one on it, but there you go. Favourite tips from solo of the 70s? I've answered this before, Victim of Changes. I mean, there's a ton of them, but I like that one. What do you think of a Les Paul with the Floyd Rose? I did the Access. Yeah, I've never actually played one. I know Scott Gorham uses one. Alex Lifeson, I think, uses one. So, I mean, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for all of us, you know what I mean? Kiss, not really. I was never a huge fan of Kiss. I mean, I respect the hell out of Kiss. How could you not? I mean, I was never into them. I never grew up with them. I don't have that kind of nostalgic connection to them. I was never into them as a kid, so I didn't kind of connect with them. But we were out with Kiss a couple of years ago around Europe, and it was great. I mean, the show was great, the songs were great, but I just don't have that. Yeah, I'm repeating myself, but you know what I mean. Scorpions. Give me a minute on that one. Scorpions, what's the, I can hear it, what's that, I can't remember the bloody Scorpions. Give me some Scorpion songs. Lightning Storm. I love Alice Cooper. If you mean Alice Cooper songs, give me some Alice Cooper songs, but I love Alice Cooper. Winds of Change. Key, it sounded wrong. Well, it sounded right, but it sounded in the wrong key. What have we got? What have we got? Help me write a banger metal chorus. Maybe that's something we could do in the future, without a doubt. You know, maybe I'll set up like an online. We could do like we could all write a chorus together, something like that. What about a headlining Priest tour? Yeah, $1 Billion Babies. Yeah. Aussie for my mum. What Aussie songs does your mum want? Let me know. Was I nervous when interviewing Tony? You know what? No, it was like I'd known him for years. It was a magical thing. It's the first time I've met him personally like that, and it was just like I'd known him for ages. So it was incredibly comfortable and laid back. What amps does Andy use on tour? Andy uses Kempers on tour. forget it, and I fucking forgot it. Anyway. Any pride and glory, yeah. Give me a song. Shine On. I don't remember that one. Any others? You're just losing your mind. That one, eh? Losing your mind. No, losing your mind. Losing your mind. I ain't got a banjo though, but something like that, you know what I mean. I'm having a go, come on. I don't want to stop with another one. Now someone asked for Diary of a Madman, and I had a bit of a brain ship, so that's it. In here. Well, in that case. I actually wish I could, you know. I say I wish I could, but obviously I haven't done it, so I can't wish that much, can I? You know. But what I mean is, I wish I could sing, but I don't want to put any effort into it. I wish I could just sing like Rob. No, but no, I'd love to be able to sing, but I can sing enough for what I need to do. Put down ideas and sing backing vocals and stuff like that, you know. Back in Black. From what I've heard, you have a lovely voice. So do you. I can hear you. You know, you got to be careful. I'll tell you what, one of you, I can always see you guys down there. One of you two, you know who I'm talking to. One of you two sings good, one of you sings bad. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. Zach and chorus and you play. Yeah, absolutely, Zach's a massive influence. I mean, you know, there's no hiding from that, is there really? Phantom of the Opera, that's a good one. So we've got a birthday request, 13-year-old to play Halls of Valhalla. How cool is that? A 13-year-old girl wants Halls of Valhalla for a birthday request. That's rocking. What a great song that is. Turbo Lover. You know, Turbo Lover is not really, I mean, we play it. There's not really a lot going on though. There's a lot of vocals and a lot of production. So, it goes like this. Play that because it's not very what's the word, entertaining. I wasn't ignoring Turbo Lover, but it's not really entertaining. For this you need the band or whatever. And it's like Glenn's Haymans, yes. How do they feel? Well, I like a thick neck, and Glenn likes a thin neck. So for me, it doesn't really suit my hand, you know. It's a very, and when I say a thin neck, I mean thin neck this way. So if you imagine, like this is the thickness of it, the depth of it, or whatever you want to call it. Glenn's is more sort of thin this way. So I don't really find it very comfortable, but it's you know, Glenn's a legend and it suits him. So it's just whatever suits you, you know. Glenn also likes pretty light strings and I like fairly heavy strings. So again, it's an iconic, you know, both the Phantom and the GT are iconic. Just doesn't suit me. Crazy Train. Sometimes it has a tendency to go out of sync. It's because we're laying down too much metal for the Instagram to keep up with, so you know, it can't keep up with us maniacs, you know. Too much metal going through the magnet. But if it gets too bad, I'll stop it and then I'll get back on again. Reset it and get back on. Is it too annoying? Is it doing everyone's head in? If it's too bad, I'll quit and then get back straight on. So if everyone wants me to do that, I'll do that. No? Keep it as it is? Get back on? What should I do? Quit it? Yeah? Okay. Right, bear with me. I'll get off and then get back on and see if we can sort out the delay, alright maniacs? See you in a bit. Yeah, I got the burnt chest and everything. Proper Englishman's tan. I'm flying the flag for us English people in the sun. What about this one? Many times in Camden. Awesome. Yeah, Camden was my home back in the day. So yeah. Dio, Sabbath. What have we got? Rock the Night. Bit of Europe for you. Oh, the Final Countdown, yeah, because it all got nuts, so you had to the solo got nuts as well. Good solo, I love it. You know, it's good. The great thing about that, obviously, is I like that kind of bluesy stuff, that Van Halen-y type stuff, you know. Any bands you didn't like touring with? No, not really. Not really. Not really. No, no, not at all. Do I like Status Quo? Yeah. Didn't I play with John Norum once? Yes, he actually got up in camp. Yes, you're absolutely right, Craig. He did get up. I think it was John Norum. Who's the bass player? I can't remember the bass player's name. And maybe even Ian Hugland, I think, got up on drums as well. Do you know anything by Blondie? Probably. Let me have a think. I might do, yeah. Just not coming to my mind now. Thin Lizzy. How much the cigarettes now? It's almost the same as the status quo. Cigarettes as well, isn't it? In fact, with favourite female musician. Oh man, at the moment, I mean, I love Lizzie Howe. I think she's a phenomenon. Pat Benatar. I mean, guitar players. You always had Jennifer Batten. Yeah, I mean, Lizzie Howe is like another level, singing wise. I mean, crushes absolutely. Edith Strauss, yeah, also played with her. I think that was the Christmas Pudding, Alice's Christmas Pudding. She was there. Do you know anything by Thin Lizzy? Yes. Give me a song and I'll play it. Consider as the best guitarist? Well, my favourite is Michael Schenker. You know, the best is subjective, you know, depending on what, you know, David Gilmour, Glenn Tipton, you know, who's the best? Jimi Hendrix, who's the best? But my favourite is Michael Schenker. Stranger in a Strange Land. Don't fear. My cowbell went off. It's a delay. The cowbell was spot on. It's the delay that sent it off. I tried to do the cowbell, you know. Yes, I know Sinner, I know Diamonds and Rust, I know Starbreaker. Genocide. solo career. No, I know that. What was the Resurrection one? Shortest Straw. I do know Shortest Straw. Metallica guys. Yes, I met Lars in a bar in London. I met Robert in a bar. There's a bit of a common theme here. I met Robert in a bar in Los Angeles. I never met Kirk. Never met James. What have we got? Jimi Hendrix, Cowboys from Hell, we've come down. Always in a bar. I'm here to, yeah, exactly. I've run out of gum. You know when you chewed your gum so much it goes kind of, goes all thin and nasty. So I like to get rid of that. Bark at the moon. There was a song by Don Donegan, I think it was, does your chewing gum lose its flavour on the bedpost overnight? And if you don't believe me, go and look it up. But I mean, my song could be when your chewing gum goes all thin and nasty. But I guarantee you, I kid you not, I think it was Lonnie Donegan or Don Donegan, I'm not sure which one it was, does the chewing gum lose its flavour on the bedpost overnight? Maybe that should be a cover. Someone should do a cover of that. Lonnie Donegan, not Don Donegan. Don Donegan's another thing completely. But Lonnie Donegan. Can't remember that one. Your guitar talk like Jimmy did? No, I cannot. Please do some new rock and roll songs. Fine people, great talent you are. I see. All this Portuguese on there, I can't read it. I was wondering, are you living in the States? You're not the IRS, are you? I'm not telling you. 3mm, a 3mm Dunlop Flow pick. I mean, it never focuses over my bloody face. If I put it, I don't know if you can see it, ain't focusing. It's a 3mm Dunlop Flow anyway. You remember we used to get the Dunlop stubbies. I think they were Dunlop, the stubbies. The 2mm ones are the ones that I use with the Star Wars graphics on them. And then I started using these, you know, because these go up to 11. You know what I mean? When are we doing a headline tour of the UK? Whenever we can. Absolutely. As soon as we can, we will. I think you're right. I think it is a stubby in Australia. What was my preferred thickness before I settled on the 3mm? It was a 2mm. I used a 2mm for years. And it was usually the Dunlop 2mm, and then I changed to in-tune 2mm because they could put the Star Wars graphics on them. I mean, I could use 1.5, 1mm. You know, I'm not that fussy, but I mean, obviously we have preferences. So I'd use 2mm for years, and then this one came along, and I do like the way it feels. It's got like a grip. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a raised part on it. You can't really see it, but it's raised, and it kind of stays in your fingers a bit better when you're all sweaty on stage, like a monkey. What strings for E flat? I use 11 to 50 in both E flat and standard tunings. Yeah, I went up to 12s on E flat, and it just didn't, you know, it weren't happening. If anything, the 11 to 50 in E flat, they're a bit too light for me as I play them in standard anyway. But it's hard to find. I mean, there probably is like a medium gauge between 12 and 11. So like 11 and a half would be the gauge. But you know, for what it's worth, I just keep the 11s on for an easy life. You know what I mean? It's all about an easy life when you get to my age. Let me tell you. Consider playing Blood Red Skies again, or do you guys need a little bit more production for it? We've got the production if we need it. We have considered it. It's on the short list as one of the ones that, you know, we could rack out for the 50th anniversary. It's a great song. Yeah, I think we played it on the Epitaph tour. I think, right? It was the first tour that we did that I joined on. Yeah. Does the 50 to 11 string mess up your sustain for standard? No, not at all. No, I've played 11 to 48 for years, 20 years. So that's the strings that I've always used. I only moved up to 11 to 50 because I wanted something a bit more substantial on the bottom end when I drop tune to E flat. So it's 11 to 50, but otherwise it's 11 to 48. You can get them. I think it's like an Ernie Ball Power Slinky set or something. I think it's 11 to 48. Let me see here, what have we got? The Clansman. turbo tracks. I mean, there's a few on there that we're looking at. You know, there's Reckless. We could do off of Turbo. That's a great one. I don't think they've done that for a while, if at all. I'm not too sure. We've done that on the Cold and the last tour, so there's definitely some songs on there we can look at. Yeah, without a doubt. Saints in Hell. Sweet Child of Mine, the third solo. Which one's that? Oh, the. They called me, they phoned me, they gave me a call. Yeah, basically, they found out my number and gave me a call. That's the short version, but that's basically it. Looks like we've got a delay again. Smoke and Water. No, you're right, I don't know the chords on that one. That's a tough one, that. Some thrash. What thrash would you like? Right, two questions. Have I ever met Guns N' Roses? I met Slash. And was Steve Harris involved in the phone call from Priest? No, he wasn't. Whiplash, that's a good one. Played this on here, I don't think, but I've got to play it once because someone's just asked for it. it's gone out of sync again, hasn't it, Maniacs? From what I've got a few people telling me that it's all gone out of sync. It's too much metal going through the Instagram. It can't keep up, mate. It cannot keep up with the fresh. Where he was there. Interesting, it's not lagging for Miro there, but it's lagging for other people, which would mean that it's not this end, which is interesting. Cold Ethel. I think I know who that was. I used to know Cold Ethel. I played Cold Ethel in an Alice Cooper tribute band with my good friend Davey Rimmer from Uriah Heep. If someone could sing through this and just give me the riff, I'll probably remember it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. I can't remember Cold Ethel at the moment. Let me think about it. In sync, the video's out of sync, if you know what I mean. Okay, so it looks like I'm playing things superhumanly. That's okay. We'll go with that. If it's not too bad, we'll carry on. If it gets silly, we'll stop it and we'll come back another day. But keep me posted, Maniacs. Russian melody. I don't know any Russian melodies. I know Mother Russia by Iron Maiden. That's not exactly a Russian melody. Riff Raff. That's not Riff Raff, isn't it? That's hell ain't a bad place to be. I can't remember Riff Raff. Under My Wheels. I don't know, I lose track of the ACD, especially without the vocals. It's like Riff Raff and Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, and you know, they're all great songs. So what the fuck, you know. Brutal Planet. I remember that one. Bloody hell, Brutal Planet. I have to remember that one though. It's been a while. Bon, I'd have to say. Well, I love Brian too. I think everyone's, you know, pretty much unanimous on that. Everyone loves Brian, but come on, it's Bon. Oh, Rosie. Ah, Thunderstruck is a good one. Someone said Rosie, and then I thought, bollocks, I'll play Thunderstruck instead. Come on, you're not as deaf as me. I would have heard that. But Rosie. What decade of music is easiest for me to learn to play? That's a great question. I mean, most of the best music in the world come out of the 70s and the 80s. And I'd say some of the 60s, the 70s and the 80s, and then everything stopped. The drugs stopped, the good music stopped. I mean, what? Then everything else got kind of rehashed. So I guess Oasis were a rehash of like the Beatles type stuff. You know, but it's, you know, like if you think of, it was the 80s, wasn't it really? I mean, even the pop music was phenomenal. In the 70s as well, the pop music was phenomenal. Then, as I said, everyone stopped taking drugs and all the good music stopped. I don't know. I didn't say that, someone else said that. But, you know. Glenn's doing okay. I spoke to him a little while ago. I'm going to give him a call this week actually, so I'll pass on all you maniacs that are asking about him. I'll send him your love. All the rest of you that are not asking about him, then I won't. No, I'm kidding. I had a lot of people ask about how's Glenn doing on these live feeds, and I'm sure he'll be overwhelmed to hear that you guys are asking about him. So I'll say that you guys say hi. But he's doing all right. He's doing fine as far as I know. Last time I spoke to him, he sounded jolly Beatty. When did I start to really focus on getting good at guitar? I'm still focusing. I'm still trying. But I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a great question. It just kind of happened. That's a good one. Down the hole. favourite Kiss tune? Well, for those who know me, they know the answer to that. But I know one Kiss tune. Queen 2 and Sheer Heart Attacks are my favourites, or some of my favourites too, without a doubt. I love Data Races and Night at the Opera and everything. There's some great stuff on some of the more obscure records, you know, like Hot Space. And how is Richie Faulkner doing? Who? Don't know who that is. Isn't it like a... Organa's Rage was one of the things that I just put together for EMG so we could do some videos. What's the biggest thing that's gone wrong for me playing live? I've had technical issues, you know, like things going down. I remember, I think it was 2014, 2015. 2015 it was, on the Redeemer of Souls tour. We were playing the Budokan in Japan, which is a prestigious venue. And my amp went down as the intro was playing. So I had to run, everyone's out behind the curtain, Glenn's out there, Rob's out there, you know, Ian's out there behind the curtain, ready for the curtain to drop, and the intro's playing, and it's about to drop, and they haven't got the memo that my amp's gone down, I haven't got any sound. So I've had to run out behind the curtain and tell them. So they all got the memo. Then we had to make sure that our stage manager got the memo, because he was going to drop the curtain. And if he dropped the curtain, there's going to be none of us standing there, no one playing. It was going to be a bit of an anticlimax. Luckily, our stage manager, Rick Bembo, he got the memo and he didn't drop the curtain, so we just restarted the intro. We fixed the problem with the amplifier. It took about 5 minutes, and then we got up and rolling again. So yeah, wasn't my fault, but it kind of was. Right, what we got? Glenn's doing good. I'll tell the others that you didn't ask about them, by the way. You're just asking about Glenn. I'll let everyone else know that no one's asking about them. No, I'm only kidding. Right, what we got? What we got? Anarchy in the UK. Yeah. What's the one that goes? Fans ever done, well, the craziest thing I've seen a fan ever do, we were playing a theatre somewhere, I can't remember where it was, you know, so it was a smaller general, you know, standing room only, kind of, there was no seats, everyone was standing. It was in the US somewhere, and someone brought a baby, and I mean, they were in the, imagine, you know, there's 3,000 or 4,000 people standing in front of you, and right in the middle of it, down the front, close to me, was a baby. Someone was holding a baby up, and when I say a baby, I mean it was a baby. They were holding it like this, a little boy, I think it was, and it must have been, I mean, it was a baby. They were holding it like this. It was a tiny baby in a sea of about 4,000 people, and I thought that was crazy. You know, if they had dropped the baby, I mean, they didn't, obviously, but I think, to be honest, I think the venue saw it. The venue saw the baby, and I think they took them out, or at least they took them out of the pit, because it was just, you know, if you drop the baby, I mean, the baby's going to get crushed. I thought that was nuts. So I thought that was a fucking crazy thing to do. I mean, what are they thinking? I mean, the baby was fine, but I mean, you never know what's going to happen, do you? Wonderwall. Do you know what? I don't even know if it had ear protection. I don't remember. I mean, it didn't look like a baby. You can't get. You need like industrial ear defenders, you know. And I can't see industrial ear defenders sitting on the little baby's head. So I don't even know if it did. But I don't know. It might have. But it wouldn't have had earplugs. So I don't think it did. It was crazy. That'll be fun. Let's see here. What's going on here? Let's try this. We've never played that on here before. What else have we got? I mean, that was a huge song, wasn't it? Bloody hell. Yeah, you know. Metal Babies, here's Wonderwall. Why not? Champagne's a vanilla. Whoops, shoot. Enough of that, come on. Like a metal version of Wonderwall. So rock. There you go. I used to know some Evergrown, I don't anymore. Scorpions. Prince, bloody hell, the Prince. Let me think about that. I used to know that. I used to know the Prince. yeah, I used to know it. We do have a soundproof room. Not this one, no. Just thinking about neighbours. Oh, the neighbours are far away. Neighbours, they can't hear me. The cowboy song. Excellent. Who does my hair on lockdown? I do it. How about that shit? Machine gun. Do you know what? We've got 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. So I'm going to love you and leave you on this fine Saturday. So we've got about 1 minute and a half, so get your requests in. And thanks to everyone for hanging out and for your requests and your questions and everything. And no doubt we'll be back. We'll do another one, but get your requests in. So, am I evil? Sorry you didn't request that, but you got it anyway. Sorry about that. Black Sabbath at the end. Okay.